Listen to part of a conversation between a student and an academic advisor.
Hello, Matt. I wasn't expecting to see you today.
Hi, Mrs. Nelson. Yeah, I have a problem I need to talk with you about.
Well, have a seat and tell me what's on your mind.
You see, I'm having a lot of trouble in the comparative literature course I signed up for this semester. Literature 401, French deconstructionist theory, with Professor Fielding. It is terribly hard for me to understand what is going on in that class.
Well, literary theory is not an easy subject. And if you throw in French deconstruction, well, you're talking about something that is certainly no picnic. Matt, trust me, I'm sure you aren't the only one struggling.
I know, but I don't get anything that the professor talks about, much less the readings. I took this class to broaden my perspective and to dabble in theoretical study. Actually, one of my friends is a comparative literature major, and she recommended the course. She said it would be really interesting, but now I'm not so sure.
All right, Matt. I understand what you are saying, basically, but can you be more specific? What exactly is the problem in the course?
Okay, well, my biggest problem is that I can't keep up with the other students in the discussion sessions. It seems that everyone else gets it, but I'm totally in the dark. They might as well be speaking Greek. I think I'm better off sticking to math and sciences. I never should have registered for the course. I'm wondering if I should just drop it.
Since you've already completed half of the semester, if you drop out, you won't be able to replace it with another class. And of course, your transcript will show that you withdrew from the course. I can assure you that's not something you necessarily want on your academic record.
On the other hand, if I stay in, it's very unlikely that I'll get a good grade on the final exam. It's an essay test that is designed to demonstrate our ability to write, plus our comprehension of deconstructionist theory. Not only am I poor at writing, actually, I have no idea what deconstruction even means. That kind of stuff is way over my head.
Basically, you have two choices at this point. You can drop the class now, but that will bring your semester credit load down, which means, of course, that you won't have the status of full-time student. The downside to that is you'll probably lose some or even all the financial aid you're getting for this term.
That doesn't sound like a great option. What's the other one?
Very simply, you can stay in the class and do your best. I highly recommend that you seek extra help at the GUTS Tutorial Service Center, where students can get free tutoring in any subject offered on campus. Have you heard about it?
Yeah, I think so. It is over at Memorial Hall, right?
Right. It's on the second floor across from the International Studies office. Anyway, I'd also say that you'll be better off to request a graduate student assistant, since the course you are taking is of such an advanced nature. Also, the undergraduate tutors aren't exactly screened appropriately.
I'm thinking it is better to give it a try. Thank you so much for your help, Professor. Now get ready to answer the questions. You may use your notes to help you answer. 18.
What are the speakers mainly discussing?
.19. What does the advisor say about the comparative literature course? .20. Why does the student initially decide to take the course? (21) According to the conversation, what is the main reason the student is thinking of dropping the class? (22) According to the conversation, what are some reasons for not dropping the course?
(23 to 28). Listen to part of a lecture in a history class. You all probably know that Johannes Gutenberg contributed much to the technology of printing, including the invention of the mechanical printing press. And he developed an oil-based ink just for his printing press. Water-based ink has the advantage of drying quickly, but oil ink is stickier, so it attaches to the metal blocks more effectively. What I want to focus on today, though, are the inventions that came before Gutenberg's printing press, that were stepping stones to it. So, can anyone think of an invention that helped make the printing press possible?
Well, this may sound silly, but the letters in printed books are small, and my grandma couldn't read until we got her a pair of reading glasses. Perhaps the invention of eyeglasses was a stepping stone?
Yes, it's true that books became more popular after eyeglasses were invented and made it possible for many people to see small print. But there's a major invention that preceded the printing press, and Gutenberg is widely considered to be its inventor: metal movable type. It's a system of printing that uses detachable pieces, each of which represents a letter, punctuation mark, or character. It was unquestionably an improvement on the woodblock method already in use in Europe. That method of printing used a block of wood. The wood was cut away, and what was left behind formed the characters or image to be printed. It was first developed in Asia, but Europeans used the woodblock method to print images on cloth. Anyhow, so movable type is certainly more durable than woodblock. But did Gutenberg really invent movable type?
I'm going to say yes. I mean, before him, they had scribes who copied documents by hand, right?
You know what? The Chinese would be surprised to hear your response. They were using a system of movable characters about 400 years before Gutenberg developed his own version in AD 1450. Let me point out that, although the Chinese invented movable type, woodblock printing was certainly better suited for Chinese writing system, which consists of more than 40,000 characters. A woodblock could be used again and again to reproduce a page of text or an entire scroll. But if you used movable type, just think of how time-consuming it'd be to rearrange tens of thousands of mobile metal characters in order to print something. What a tedious task that would have been. The Chinese inventor Bi Sheng created the first movable type system in AD 1040. His type was made of baked clay. He took an iron plate and set his clay types close together, and when the frame was full, he had one solid block of type. He heated up the plate to make it warm. The warmed-up plate softened the clay. Then Bisheng took a smooth board and pressed it onto the clay types so that they would all be of the same height. He then inked his clay types and pressed them on paper. When he wasn't using them, he wrapped them in paper and stored them carefully. If they needed to be used again, they had to be reset on the iron plate and reheated. Now, Bisheng's clay types were fragile, so it wasn't practical to apply them to large-scale printing jobs. Actually, metal movable type was first created in Korea in the 13th century, but in fairness to Gutenberg, he invented the molds that allowed for mass production of individual pieces of metal type, with each character on a separate block. Before this, each piece of metal type had to be individually carved by hand. Now get ready to answer the questions. You may use your notes to help you answer. 23. What is the main topic of the lecture? 24. According to the lecture, in what way were eyeglasses helpful in spurring the invention of the printing press?
25. What does the professor say about Gutenberg's metal movable type?
26. According to the professor, why was woodblock printing superior to movable type for Chinese texts? 27. According to the professor, what are two characteristics of Bisheng's invention?
28. According to the professor, what is the significance of Gutenberg's molds?